Well, authorities are still investigating last week's deadly attack at Old Dominion University, where a convicted ISIS terrorist opened fire in an ROTC classroom. Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shah was killed in the attack, and Shah was an ROTC instructor who served several tours in the Middle East since enlisting in 2003. He was also highly decorated during his military career, earning more than 17 awards, including the Air Medal of Valor and 3 Army Commendation Medals. Joining us now is retired Army Captain Jason Fedish, a friend and former ROTC colleague of Brandon Shah. First of all, thank you so much for joining us, and very sorry for the loss of your friend. Can you please tell us about your relationship with Brandon and how you met him? How long did you get to work with him? How you knew him? What kind of person he was?
Yeah, Katie, thanks for having me, and thanks for bringing this story up. I attended Old Dominion from 2001 to 2005 is when I graduated in commission. Brandon came into the program 2003, so I was 2 years his senior at that time. I was blessed to have been put into positions of leadership within Cadet Command, and got to work directly with Brandon for the last 2 years that I was at Old Dominion. Brandon Shah is the kind of person that you put center stage when you want to show off the best of what America has to offer. He had the most infectious smile. He was extremely optimistic, always upbeat, always engaged, and he made this world a better place, period. And that was how he lived his career. After I graduated, everybody kind of went their own paths. We stayed in touch over the years. And he obviously, you just highlighted some of his stellar moments throughout his career. But one of the most admirable things I think that Brandon did was come back to his hometown to serve in his community and work on teaching, on mentoring, on molding the next generation's minds of leaders and future warriors for this country. And I think this country owes him a huge debt of gratitude. And there is not, I've been corresponding with a bunch of alumni classmates from the Monarch Battalion, and there is not a single person that has a bad memory with Brandon. You will not find anybody that has anything bad to say about him. So the fact that this happened is an absolute travesty. It breaks my heart. I can't imagine what his family is going through right now. But he represents the very best of us.
Yeah, I mean, just listening to what happened that day and you talking about his leadership and instilling that in the people he was teaching, the cadets who were in that classroom, the way they jumped into action to subdue the terrorists, I think is a reflection of his teaching and his leadership, absolutely. I have to ask you about this, you just called it a travesty. Brandon was deployed many times. He went to war on behalf of the United States of America. He has a number of accomplishments, and then, as you said, came back to his hometown to make a difference here. What are your thoughts about the fact that he was killed by someone who was in prison for supporting ISIS, who was then let out? He was not denaturalized after coming over from West Africa, and he was able to then go to this ROTC classroom and take Brandon's life.
There's definitely some frustration. When those facts started to come out, there was we chatting amongst the Monarch alum. There's everything from sadness to rage and anger that was even allowed to happen. A person that did everything by the book, everything right, stand-up guy, stand-up career, and to have a system let you down is a bit frustrating. I'll let the investigation pan out. I don't want to dab too much into politics. I'd rather be part of the solution than part of the problem. But that is a chink in our armor, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing your memories of Brandon and helping us to honor him and his legacy as a great American. And again, very sorry for your loss, and please relay that to your buddies as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.